Hey bio fans, David here from the Biography Wrap, and today we are going to explore the life of Morayolua through the movie Tainted Canvas, directed by Segilola Ogadan. The story begins with a glimpse of the childhood of Morayolua in Nigeria. Currently, she lives in London and is an artist who likes to paint and get her mind off things. But she made her own life here, away from her family and friends from childhood. But as she tries to paint one of the paintings due soon for a very important art exhibition, she tells about her childhood and the multiple cases of abuse she had to bear, which traumatizes her to date. Thinking about all of this, she says that children are like a plain canvas with infinite possibilities for colors, but adults have a predetermined set of colors that they gather over the course of their lives with the experiences they have had. She couldn't focus her energies on the exhibition and instead paints a piece which she would not consider giving out for the exhibition. She goes on to meet a friend of hers to whom she has already told her story, and they meet up to talk and lighten up Rayo's mood. But that night, while they are sleeping, Rayo has a dream resembling her abuses in childhood, and as horrific as it was, she wets the bed. When her friend sees this, she realizes what kind of horrors Rayo would have faced in her past, which haunts her even today and to this extent. The next day, again, Rayo tries to paint when her phone rings. As she picks up the phone, her aunt says that her mother, Rose, is in very bad condition, and she should come home to meet her in Nigeria, which disturbs her even more, and she finds herself unable to make something new for the exhibition. Upon knowing that the deadline for the exhibition being the same day, Rayo gets torn between the decision that she should take. Her friend tells her that no matter her relationship with her mother, there is no thinking twice about visiting her in her very last moments. Rayo at first declines straight away, but then eventually gets convinced by her friend's argument. The next day, she has the painting delivered to the exhibition, and she catches a flight to her hometown of Lagos, Nigeria. She spends the night with her aunt in her childhood home. While talking to her, all those memories of abuse come rushing back to her, and her eyes are filled with tears. Her aunt tells her that she knows of everything her mother did to her, and she feels sorry that she couldn't do anything at that time, but right now, she wants Rayo to forgive her mother in the name of God, as her days are numbered now. The other day, when she and her aunt meet her mother in the hospital, they find out that she has fallen into a coma. When Rayo sees her, her body feels lifeless, pierced with needles. Cancer has eaten her from within. The doctor tells them that she can only listen but not respond. When left alone with her mother, Rayo tells her that she just wishes she had loved her as much as Rayo loved her. But with the anger and frustration she had in her heart, what she had been facing all these years, she couldn't gather up the courage to tell all those things to her mother's face, even though she is in a coma. After coming back home, she relives her childhood abuses, as here, all those memories that faded somewhat with time became crystal clear. She remembers when her math teacher tried to rape her, but she resisted, and so as a punishment, he locked her in a confined box for hours. But the most terrible memory was of her mother, as when she needed money, she convinced Rayo that she was very sick and that she would need her help to buy medication. She went to a shop whose owner and Rayo's mother had already made a deal: money in exchange for sex with her daughter. She sends innocent Rayo inside with a man, and he rapes her brutally, even beats her, and she forgets all this happening to her little child only in exchange for some money. Later, when she visits her mother again, she tells her about her favorite moments with her, and she spends a fair amount of time taking care of her and leaves after her aunt comes to take her position and give her a break for the day. As she is about to proceed to her house, Dr. Fola approaches her and offers to show her around an art exhibition. Upon a brief talk, she agrees to his offer and leaves with him. They both have a great time together, but Fola tries to kiss her, to which Rayo turns away, making the situation uncomfortable for both of them. The next day, she runs into Fola when she goes to see her mother. They both go up to check up on her mother, but to her surprise, her mother comes out of the coma as soon as she talks about her to Fola. Seeing both of them together, Fola realizes that they are not on the best of terms lately, but as his mother's doctor, Fola confronts Rayo and tells her to take it easy on her mother, at least until she is recovering. The following night, Rayo sits at her home, looking at old pictures from the album, which her mother had kept safe all these years. Her aunt comes and tells her about the stories behind those pictures. She tells Rayo that her mother in her youth was one of the promising models, but after the death of their father, she went into a Great Depression. Since then, she had been taking antidepressant pills, leading her modeling career to the trash and unable to financially support herself, leading back to more depression. She falls in love with a guy who gets her pregnant and then leaves her for good. As a result, she pushed herself towards prostitution to make money for her antidepressant pills, which she had gotten used to very severely. And these were the only reasons that led her to do whatever she did during that period. Her aunt tells her that no matter what she thinks of her mother, but she loved her unconditionally and begs her to leave the past behind, as she did not want Rayo to become so much burdened by her past that she forgets about the possibility of the future and what good it might bring with it. The following day, Rayo wakes up in a very good mood, and while cooking a dish in the kitchen, they talk about Follow, and if she liked him or not, to which she replies that with her past burden on her mind, she couldn't even think of a relationship like that. They proceed on their way to the hospital. After reaching the hospital, her aunt asks Rose to give Rayo the answers she needs, as it would set her free and give her the chance to live her life without all the trauma that she has carried along with her until today. Rose agrees to talk to Rayo. Rayo enters her mother's room, and her aunt leaves them alone to have a heart-to-heart conversation. Rayo asks Rose only one question: if she loved her ever in her lifetime. Even if her mother loved her just a little bit, she could not understand how she could let all those things happen to her in front of her eyes. Rose tells her that she didn't want her as a child, and even now doesn't want her. Rose thought that by listening to this, she would get the answer that she was hoping for, and it would set her mind at ease. But as soon as she listens to this, Rayo leaves the hospital. Rose realizes what a terrible mistake she has made, and she missed the only chance she got to tell her child that she loved her, and even then, she drove her away. Hoping to catch Rayo on her way out, she gets up from the hospital bed and removes all needles inside her, but it is too late. Rayo reaches her home only to hear the news of her mother's demise the following night. While Rose is being buried, Rayo remembers all the good memories she had spent with her mom and says that she forgives her no matter what she does. Later, her aunt hands her a letter written by Rose a while ago, which states that her life insurance money will go to her daughter along with the pearl necklace that she had saved since a very young age. The letter also read that she had always loved Rayo no matter what the conditions were, and the last thing she would ever want was for her daughter to hate her. Reading that letter, Rayo cries her heart out, as she has been waiting to listen to these words from her mother from a very young age, and now that she finally knows that her mother loves her as much as she loves her. As if a heavy weight has been lifted off her chest, she feels relieved. That's it from the movie Tainted Canvas. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. Let me know what you thought about this true story, and make sure to check out this next one.